Hi everybody, I'm back. I apologize. I know I didn't make my video last weekend, but my family and I were hosting a benefit dinner for my uncle, which went really, really well. So I promise I was away for good reasons. And I'm back for this week's video, and this week's video is based on a question, once again, that I was asked in my last video. So please keep the questions coming. They're very, very good questions, and I love answering them. The question that I'm answering this week is how my coworkers react to my Tourette syndrome and how they've reacted in the past and if they're good with my Tourette's. I have been very, very lucky when it comes to coworkers and my Tourette syndrome. I have been around a lot of supportive people, and once they notice that I am ticking after they know that I have Tourette's, they'll always try and ask me if I'm okay or if I need anything. Or a lot of the times they'll pretend like I'm not doing anything at all, which is actually more helpful than anything because it makes me feel more normal, more like I'm everybody else in the room. So I really like it when people just pretend as what I'm doing is completely fine and completely normal. I've been at the same job that I have now for the past 2 years. I really like it there, and my coworkers are really, really great. They're very, very good about my Tourette syndrome. They know when I need to take a break. There are days where it has gotten really, really bad in the past, where I have had to leave or go in early so I could leave a little bit early, and my manager is absolutely wonderful about it. I know they don't all completely understand because they don't go through Tourette syndrome, but their support means the world to me. So for those who are listening who maybe run a company who know somebody that has Tourette's, an employee or a coworker, it's very, very important to either show support or make them feel like they're part of your group and not doing anything weird or out of the ordinary. It makes when I feel stressed at work, my Tourette's get really, really bad. When I start to feel self-conscious about my Tourette's, they get even worse. And so if I were to have really bad coworkers, it would make it that much worse. With that being said, I did have one incident with a coworker that I don't necessarily get along with, but I try my best. I was told one day when I was talking to another friend of mine at work about Tourette's and about how I wanted to have more awareness for Tourette's. I was told that Tourette's isn't as bad, and because of that, it doesn't deserve as much awareness as other disorders such as depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, etc. I agree that every other disorder out there needs as much awareness as possible. Tourette's needs a lot of awareness. This woman was under the impression that just because she knew somebody with Tourette's, that there was enough awareness out there, which is so far from true. It's unbelievable. I was very taken back by her remark, and I had to do everything in my power to bite my tongue so I wouldn't unload on her because it offended me greatly, and it was probably one of the more offensive things I've ever been told because every single person's story is different. Everybody's problems are different. Everybody handles them differently. We all have our own story to tell. We all have our own story that we're living, and to compare somebody else to another person is so wrong and so far-fetched. It will never give you a real outlook. I would never compare what I have to somebody else and say that what I have is worse than you or what you have is worse than me, because like I said, everybody's really different. I can't even compare my story or my life with Tourette's to another person's life with Tourette's to say whose is worse, whose is better, because once again, we all handle it differently, we all portray it differently, and some of us can even hold in our tics differently and better than others. I know that me living my life with Tourette syndrome can be completely different than somebody else doing that. So that's why it's so important not to compare it to somebody else, and why it's important not to say that it doesn't seem as bad as something else, because you don't know what somebody goes through at home. You don't know what their life is like at home. My Tourette's are way different when I'm at home because I feel comfortable to let everything out that I've tried to hold in throughout that day. I feel comfortable around my husband. I feel comfortable around family that I'm around. And so that's when my Tourette's get bad. While I'm at work, I'm usually very concentrated on something, trying to do my work, trying to get through the day. And so it may seem like what I have isn't very bad at all when that's not always true. I think it's very important for people to watch what they say around others, especially if they know that they have, especially if they know they have a disorder of some kind or something wrong with them. And I think it's important for you to watch what you compare to your life or somebody that you know. I'm very, very lucky that I've only run into that one problem with one of my coworkers and that I have a boss that understands that there are days where I just need to do what's best for me. I also think that being open about it with people you work with and at work is extremely important. I would rather let everybody know what I'm doing because it makes me feel a little bit more comfortable while I'm doing it. I still feel very self-conscious when I'm making noises and moving what and causing a distraction or causing what I think to be a distraction. I do get self-conscious about it. I worry that I'm annoying somebody else or somebody thinks that maybe I'm faking it when I'm not. And those thoughts do go through my mind, but it's nice to know that I have friends there that know what I'm going through, that aren't afraid to ask questions and aren't afraid to make sure that I'm okay. And it makes work a million times better. I was actually told the man who interviewed me that I had Tourette's the day of my interview. I wanted it to be important. I wanted him to know that I had it just in case something were to get bad, in case I had a really bad day, in case I had a tic attack or a panic attack because my Tourette's got so bad. I wanted them to know that that was possible, but I also wanted them to know that my Tourette's makes me who I am, and it makes me an even more determined person to beat any odds that people think. He was very surprised to know that I had Tourette's, and I honestly think that it helped me get my job because it showed that I was strong enough to get through what a lot of people would let beat them. And so I was ready for pretty much anything. And so that's why I think it's very important to be open. And I know it's hard and I know it's easier said than done. But I think just telling people and getting the word out gets that much more understanding for you. They'll know that sometimes you may make noises, sometimes you may say things or move your body in a weird way. But if they know it's just because you have Tourette's, then they can just say, well, it's just her Tourette's acting up, everything's fine. And I just personally would rather it go like that for my life at work. I think it makes it a lot easier. And like I said, I'm very, very lucky with the people that I work with and the manager that I have now. They're all very understanding, and I think I'm helping to spread awareness even at work because I have taught so many people there about Tourette syndrome. We've actually had a teal day last year during Tourette Syndrome Awareness Month, and they've all been super supportive of it, and I plan on hoping to do the same thing again this year. So thank you for such a wonderful question. Hopefully I answered it okay for you. If you have any follow-up questions, please do not fail to ask, and if anybody else has any questions at all about my life with this, living with this disorder, please feel free to ask. You can email me your questions, you can leave them in the comments below, or you can even find me on Twitter. Just please do not be afraid to contact me at all. I'm open to anything. I'm more than willing to answer questions, help anybody, and give any advice that I might have or might be able to share with you. Please, as always, keep commenting, please liking the video, and please keep subscribing. I hope you enjoyed this video just as much as the last one. Thank you.